What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I want to start by talking about Aaron Rodgers denying some rumors. As you may have seen during the bye week, it was bombshell after bombshell after big story, big story, big story. And Aaron Rodgers got to go on Pat McAfee today, and he shared his sign of the coin, including what he wants to do in 2025. This video and the YouTube channel here is powered by BetUS, the official sportsbook sponsor of the channel. Something you could do other than just betting on the games with BetUS. They have different props. For instance, for the New York Jets, you could bet on who the next GM is going to be if that's something that you're interested in. Two of my favorite candidates on this list here are Mike Borgonzi and Ray Agnew. I'd be very, very, very happy if either of those two guys got the job. You could sign up using promo code YouTube150 and receive a 150% match deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. You get additional 125% deposit bonuses on your second and third deposits until you reach that $2,000 limit. Make sure to sign up and do your wagering with BetUS, the official sportsbook of the channel. All right, so there was a report that Aaron Rodgers wanted to play in 2025, but just not with the New York Jets. And, well, he pretty much denied that today.
As far as my future goes, I haven't told anybody in my life that I want to play in 2025 and not on the Jets. So that's 100% false. I actually said the opposite. You know, I said that I'm going to wait and see what happens with at the end of the season, and if they want me back, and what happens with Brick, and what happens with the offensive staff, and obviously the GM at the time, and then they just fired Joe. There's a lot of things out of my control when it comes to that. But I've really enjoyed my time in New York. I mean, obviously we haven't had the success that we've all wanted to have, but I've made some great friendships on the team. I've enjoyed living in Jersey. I've enjoyed time in the city. I've enjoyed getting to know the fans. And I came here to win here. So I'm not jumping off ship, like, oh, I definitely want to play and not in New York. Like, I don't even know if I want to play yet, but New York would be my first option.
The quote that sticks out to me is, I haven't told anybody in my life that I want to play in 2025 and not on the Jets. That's 100% false. And I actually said the opposite. I don't even know if I want to play yet, but New York would be my first option. So we're going to do the, I don't know if he's going to play in 2025 yet game, which, like, I'm just, at this point, I just want to see how it plays out. That's it. Like, I've made my case for why I think the Jets might be better off moving from Aaron Rodgers. If he wants to stay and come back, there's a world where that can work too. Like, I'm just gonna let it see how it plays out at this point. Honestly, I think that's the healthiest way to go about it. I don't think it's worth fighting for the next 2 months that the Jets absolutely have to keep him. If they don't, they're idiots, or they absolutely have to move on. If they don't, they're idiots. I don't know. Maybe I'm losing my passion after all this, after just all this craziness in this Jets season. But this a point of emphasis that I was making in my videos, where I shared the opinion that it might not be the best idea to bring Aaron Rodgers back, is the age factor. This is the third year in a row. He's going to turn 41 in December, and this is the third year in a row where Aaron Rodgers has gotten hurt. He was banged up his final year in Green Bay. He played through the season with a broken thumb. In 2023, we unfortunately know about the Achilles. And this year he's played through a hamstring and a couple knees and an ankle. Is he magically going to get healthier at 41? I'm not sure. And that's something that he really has to consider is my body up for it? Mentally, he might still want to do it. And the arm talent, I'm not going to tell you he doesn't have the arm talent to play. He's shown it and put it on display. It's just not consistently enough. And I think the big reason is his body can't handle a 17-game season anymore. That's just my opinion on it. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, he comes back next year and looks like an MVP version of himself. I just think it's very risky that you're going to bank on that happening at 41. We also received word from Aaron Rodgers that he didn't go to dinner with Woody Johnson. It was actually a different Johnson. So Christopher Johnson said he's had more conversations with Christopher than Woody. says he has love and gratitude for all the Johnsons. I'm assuming he also means Brick Johnson, who's the actual general manager of the New York Jets, maybe, allegedly. But he's mentioned Christopher by name for a really, really long time. So I think Chris loves Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers loves Chris. Now, maybe there's some truth to the Woody and Aaron relationship not being as strong as the public persona may have it, but I do really think that there is a legit Chris and Aaron relationship. And with Woody Johnson likely leaving in a few months, this might actually bode well for those who want Aaron Rodgers back, and for Aaron Rodgers if he wants to return. If it's the Chris show, he might opt to just flat out keep him. Why not? We've seen Christopher Johnson make decisions when Woody Johnson wasn't here. He hired Adam Gase. They hired Joe Douglas. They've made plenty of decisions. And Woody was overseas working under the Trump administration, which he's likely going to do again. Maybe it's going to be the Christopher Johnson show. Why not? Oh, also, Aaron Rodgers denied the medical scan allegations things. He said that he and doctors discussed and they were able to diagnose him based on how he was feeling, and that they felt he didn't need the scans. And I guess it was saying it was more of a collaborative effort that he didn't need the scans. It's not like he said flat out to them that, no, I don't, don't give me a scan. I don't want the scan. It's kind of like they were able to talk through and come together with a conclusion based on the doctor's diagnosis and based on how Aaron Rodgers was describing how he was feeling in an examination. And together they decided that they didn't need a scan. So it's gray area, right? Like we don't, there's no way to really know the full answer, but Aaron Rodgers is sharing his side. So it's going to push back a little bit on some of the reports. One, that, he doesn't want to be here in 2025 with all this change. Now, he did also mention in his answer, if you noticed, he talked about, Joe Douglas and Ulbrich and the offensive staff, meaning Nathaniel Hackett, and in their future and if they're going to be here. And they're not. They're going to have a new GM and a new coaching staff, and that's probably going to play a factor in Aaron Rodgers' decision. And I'm not signing myself up for retaining Nathaniel Hackett just to get Aaron Rodgers back. To me, this is, hey, this is, our GM, this is the GM, this is the coach, this is the offensive staff. If you want on board, you can. If not, very well, we'll cut you and move on. That's how I think the Jets should handle it from their side. And again, my preference is kind of with a clean slate here, but there's no guarantee that that's going to be the case based on Rodgers' conversations with Pat McAfee, based on everything we seem to know about Christopher Johnson, and based on Rex really pining for this job. Maybe it is going to be the Christopher Johnson, Rex Ryan, and Aaron Rodgers show in 2025. I genuinely would not put it past the New York Jets to do that. But again, we'll see. We're still a few months away. In 2 months from now, we'll have our answer. By this time in January, we'll absolutely have our answer. But anyway, that's going to do it for me in this one, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Shout out BetUS for sponsoring. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.